Hi there. I want to take a few minutes and go over some of the features in this feature-rich radio. You can see, if you look closely, this little red light is on. That's what indicates that it's being charged. In this case, being charged from light from my lamps here in the room, hitting the solar panel. They do mention in the instructions that the solar charging for this radio is intended only to keep an already charged battery topped off. It's really slow, and you'll probably never get the battery from 0 to full using just sunlight in any reasonable period of time. There are two other ways to charge the radio. One is a hand crank, which is handy if the power is out. You turn it, and frankly, it can be kind of tedious. It's about 2 minutes of turning rapidly for 5 minutes of radio or a few minutes of light. But in an emergency, that's fine. Otherwise, you can charge it on this here through a normal USB charging system, and it also acts as a USB battery for your phone or whatever else. It has all kinds of lights on it. This button activates the flashlights, and there are three levels. One is the spotlight, the light in the center. It's kind of bright. The second are the floodlights that are actually really bright. I mean, they can hurt your eyes if you point them there. The third press turns both the spotlight and the two floodlights on. Fourth press turns it off. The other light is the reading light. You lift up the solar panel, and it's kind of a more gentle glow, and there's two options for that. You can have it fully on or set to auto, and set to auto if there's nobody moving in the room, the lights shut off. When somebody enters the room, comes close to the radio, they turn back on. That works well also. Lots of different ways for emergency lights. Radios are nice. Here, whenever you do anything that causes power, you get clear indication of how charged the battery is. In this case, it's at 100%. So these lights drop off as the battery charge drops. To turn on the radio, there's weather band, FM and AM. We're set to weather band. You turn on the radio, and then you tune until you find a radio station, and there's a tuning indicator to show when you're centered on a radio station. There's no weather alert for this. That's the one shortfall of it. But then again, if you're in an emergency, you probably know it. And unless you're in a place where you need to be notified ahead of time of emergencies, like out in the country where there's a possibility of flooding or tornadoes, if you're in the city, you know if there's going to be a weather emergency. Next is FM.
12 and doing that.
There we go.
Hope at some point he has some good.
And again, there's a tuning indicator when you find a station. It's not a great radio. Sound isn't bad, actually. And for emergencies, it's just fine. One more push and you're over an AM. And for this, it's kind of annoying because this AM radio was dead. Actually, wait a minute. I've never gotten any AM reception with this radio before. And in fact, that's the only station I'm getting. In fact, I reached out to their technical support because I wasn't getting any AM reception. They said, well, it's obviously your problem. You're in a bad market. There's no AM radio where you are. I'm in Washington, D.C. Then they said, well, we don't know, but maybe you need to be outside to make it work. The company support wasn't really helpful. I did reach out to Amazon, and I got an exchange radio. There it is. The exchange radio works just as well as this one, plus the AM works fine. I get lots of AM radio stations. The final feature is the SOS button. You hold it down for a few seconds. 2, 3, 4. And it makes that noise and the lights flash. Press it again and it shuts off. So if you're ever incapacitated, you need to signal for help. That's a handy final feature. So that's about it. Frankly, it wasn't a bad choice even with the AM not working, with the AM working for the price. It's a great emergency radio. It's not very durable. I mean, it won't survive being submerged or a lot of bangs. But it's still fairly well built. And again, if you're living in the city or in the suburbs, this is a great choice just to have on hand for when there's a power outage and you need light, or when there's a weather problem and you need to listen to the radio to find out what's going on. So, I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much.